Hey, preacher man, I see you. Yes. All right, guys, let's do this. Hey, you guys, I am here. This is Lady D, that be me, and this is Conversations for Dummies. I have Preacher Man out there waiting to come on. So you guys hold on real quick. Preacher Man, don't go nowhere. Lady D TV presents Conversations for Dummies, where some things you know and some things you learn. Tonight, we're going to learn some things. Stay tuned right here on Lady D TV for Conversations for Dummies, coming up right after this word from our sponsors.
Vegas, where's the food? Right here at So Sinful Snacks and Treats. Make sure you get down to 4255 Dean Martin Drive, Suite G, and put your order in at So Sinful Snacks and Treats. Try out our new steam bowls or our delicious homestyle barbecue. Either way, you're going to love something at So Sinful Snacks and Treats. Now available on Uber Eats and DoorDash. Order today.
And now, here's Lady D with Conversations for Dummies. All right. Hey, everyone out there. I hope you guys can hear me. Can somebody message me and let me know that you can hear me okay? Because I'm not sure if you guys can hear me out there right now. I am so excited to be here. Welcome to Conversations for Dummies. This is Lady D, that be me. I have my very, very special guest waiting to come on, Larry Preacher Man Thompson. I am so excited about this interview. You guys have no idea how excited I am about this particular interview, because this gentleman here, he means a lot to me. He's done a lot. He may not even know how much he has inspired and encouraged me in my life. So I just want you guys to know that this is a very special interview. But before I go there, I want to do my shout outs as I usually do. I want to give some shout outs. I want to shout out to Captain Lamette Wilson, who is the owner of KEPX Radio and the Soul Express. I want to shout out to my girl, Terry Jean, out in Texas. I want to shout out to my girl Flava out in Florida. I want to shout out to Raymond Mentor out in New York. Shout out to Chiller the Entertainer, of course, always Chiller the Entertainer out there in New Jersey. And I want to shout out to all the divas out there. You divas are some bad ABs. Y'all know what I mean, okay? Because y'all got it going on. Let me tell you something. I just want to share real quick before I bring Preacher Man on. My very first show was all about my fake eyelash frustration, because I have not been able to learn how to put on fake eyelashes for over 40 years, okay? Well, look, y'all. Look. Can you see them? Can you see? I got my lashes on, y'all. I got my lashes on. I'm going to do a whole show about me putting on my lashes, okay? So I want y'all to know I got my lashes on. So just stay tuned for the show about Lady D and her fake eyelash frustration is no longer a frustration, but actually it is. And that's going to be a whole show all in itself. But I'm not going to go belabor this any longer. Without any further ado, I'm going to bring on Preacher Man. Preacher Man.
Hey,
All right.
lady. Hey, there
There
you
you
are.
are.
You should have told me you were gonna get dressed up and be looking pretty, girl. I'm at home and
Man,
child, I'm just being 100% me on Friday
hey,
night.
you are fine. You are just fine. You are in the comfort of your home and you look just as well as you did when I first met you, what, over 20 years ago or something like that?
You being nice and very conservative. Child, I've been in San Diego 38 years, and you know what? Well, we just leave it at that. We'll leave it because we go
Okay.
way back to the upper room. Look, I'm gonna tell you how long I've been knowing you. Okay, when this whole internet thing and doing bulletins electronically, people start putting the typewriters up and getting the computers and getting the printers. I remember you were the first person who started to produce church bulletins professionally for
Wow.
churches in our community. That's how far we go back now. Okay.
Wow.
I remember that. I remember.
That's
Yeah,
way
you
back.
yeah, okay, so we'll just leave it at that.
Yes, yes. Man, that is amazing. You know what? Listen, preacher man, I got to share this with you real quick. Me and my daughter, my daughter Jasmine,
Okay.
she grew up with your kids,
Okay.
with
John
both of
A.
them.
Terrell. Okay.
Yes,
Rashad. Okay. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So we was talking. I told her, I said, Jasmine, I got an interview with Preacher Man tonight, and she said, really? She said, you know what? I'll never forget that time when Preacher Man came up to the school and he told John A up. He whooped her behind. He had his belt.
Child.
He said, she said, and then he turned around and he had the belt. He was like, and to all of y'all kids in here, y'all better act right too, because I got something for you too.
Yeah, you know what, that was back in the day, and I have mixed emotions about it now because I mean, to be honest with you, I feel bad that I did it because it made her feel bad, to be honest with you. But what she
Mhm.
did, um she just went on a temper tantrum in the classroom, started throwing cheers. Okay. And her teacher was a young white girl from no, from where was she from? Oklahoma somewhere. And John, they grew up in Bay Vista. So, that, you know
Yeah,
how they,
that's a clash right there. That's a
yeah,
clash
yeah,
right there.
yeah. And so they said, where we're gonna call your parents. And John A. She was like, I don't, I'm not gonna, I don't care who you call. My parents out of town anyway. And so my daughter called me, and I went up to the school, and obviously, the rest is history. But I can tell you this: never ever did I have to go back to the school, you
Okay.
know, to correct my daughter John A.
Yeah.
And John A. is really the first person in my immediate family to have finished college, and
Oh, that's
so that
beautiful.
yeah, so it paid off. And finally, I'll say this. Um, I guess, she weathered the storm and developed an ability to stand before a crowd
I
as
hear
a
she's
comedian. Yeah,
she's
yeah,
quite the comedian I hear.
yeah, yeah. So
That
but as a dad, Diane, now that I'm grown, well, I mean, I was an adult then, but look back, you know, I, I just feel a little something about it. I never boasted in the moment, never
mhm.
bragged in the moment. The school sent me a letter the next day, and they were going, call CPS or somebody, but somebody at the school told them, said, look, y'all called them to come up there and handle the situation,
And that's
and
what
that's
he
what he
did.
did. And that was my way
Exactly.
of
See,
handling the
it
situation.
that's that old school stuff that we grew up with. See, they don't do
Child,
that kind of stuff no more. They don't have
no,
that.
you
You get in
can't do it
trouble.
now.
School. You get in trouble. You be in jail trying to
I
go up to
know.
the
Yeah, I probably go down in history as the last person to discipline that daughter
okay.
in the classroom. Yeah, but no, I wouldn't do it now. No, because I know I certainly
Yeah,
wouldn't do it now. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's-
Preacher Man, it is really an honor and a pleasure to have you here. And I want to just let everybody know before I start into I was going to say, you know what, this could be your show. You ask me what you want to
okay.
ask.
Well, you know what? I do have a few questions that I would, like to ask you if I may. But first, Brother Lamette, I got to give him a big shout out. You guys been
Yeah,
out there doing this thing. I remember over there off Logan Avenue, and uh,
yeah.
Lamette is like a quiet storm. He don't raise
Oh,
no whole lot of dust. He
tell
just do what he do, and he, you know
exactly.
what? And he has longevity, and I respect that and I appreciate that. And secondly, Diane, you know what? You're right there. You have that longevity. You guys, you just do what you do, and I
Yeah.
applaud that.
Thank you.
I honestly applaud that. Yes.
And yes, and the same with you. I want to say that I want everybody to know out there that you are the first person that gave me the opportunity to get into radio. You were the first one. I remember
Wow.
going down there off of in Chula Vista to that
Yeah.
office down there when you started the Winlar,
Yeah.
and man, I would go down there and I would answer the phones. I'd be back there in the back office. I'll meet you down
Yeah.
there every was it Saturday? Every
Sure.
Saturday, every Saturday, I forget what
Yeah.
it was. But
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
you gave me my first opportunity. And I tell you, I was as scared as I don't know what, but you let me sit there and learn the boards and watch
Yeah.
you do your thing. And then you
Yeah.
allowed me to actually do my very first show on
I
radio.
rem. I. You
And
know what? Yeah.
and that was
Yeah.
the last one until I came back with Captain Met because I was so scared after that first one. I didn't know what I was doing back then, and that it wasn't the time for me at that time. But it was time for
Yeah.
me to learn, which was what you allowed me to do was to learn and to grow. And I thank you for all that you did for me
To God be
back
the
then.
glory. Amen. To
Yes,
God be the
yes,
glory. And Diane, you are more than welcome. You've always had that entrepreneur spirit about you. You've always been a go getter. And, back in the day, the soul of San Diego Winlaw Corporation, you were actually the very first and I'm going to just say volunteer. You were the very first person to come in and roll up your sleeves. I didn't see no nervousness in you. You know, I just saw a young lady, who was determined. Uh, your, your motive was pure. You were genuine. You were good at what you did, and you just did it. And
yeah,
I had no idea that, looking down, we just say we're keeping in the 20-year category. 20
mhm.
years later, you
Right,
know,
right.
you will still be here. And I can only say, to God be the glory. But you have
Yeah,
always had that entrepreneurial spirit about you. You've always been a good person, good heart, beautiful sister. And I'm just honored for the opportunity to be here with you and your listeners.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to ask you, Preacher Man, because you have been through a lot in your life. You've had your ups and downs and
Hmm.
your ins and outs. Excuse me. And I want to ask you, what allowed you, besides the grace of God, we all know the grace of God is always, it
Hmm.
keeps us. But besides that, what allowed you to stay, to remain in what you do in the radio industry?
Well, Diane, we'll go back, and I want to take you back to a state and time, a place and time, and I'm going to use a word, and I want everybody to just read between the lines. When I was innocent in my
Mm.
life, okay, a time when I was, as a child, when I
Mm-hmm.
was innocent, uh, when I didn't have, you know, uh, modern toys to play with. Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
taking you back to my childhood. I remember the first grade. I remember my first grade teacher, but I'm going back further than that. I'm going all the way back when I was just an innocent child. The the thing that idea or the thing that I had was, and I always credit it to God. I always said that, you know what? Uh, I remember sitting down and I was fascinated with radio. I don't know why. I was just
Mm,
fascinated with radio. I remember my very first transistor radio. My uncle gave it to me, and it was during the Christmas season. Little transistor radio, and that was back in the day. You put the battery in it, and the battery go dead, and then you take the battery and put it in the freezer. And they said
yeah.
that you put, it'll get some more power.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But I was fascinated. I was fascinated with that. Um, and to kind of pull it in here and summarize it. Um, I believe that God just gave me that desire,
Hmm.
to be a DJ, to be to do radio. And one of the things during my state of innocence, uh, Diane, what I used to do in terms of imagination, we didn't have, well, obviously we didn't have all the stuff that we have now, but I would take two pie pans, aluminum pie pans, and a Coca-Cola bottle. So I'm going way back when I said Coca-Cola. Okay.
Yes.
And I would sit down. I remember I just had this vivid memory of sitting, on the back porch, and I would take these two pie pans and I would imagine that they were my turntables, and the
Mm,
Coca-Cola bottle was my microphone.
wow.
And I would close my eyes and I would just, this is the truth, so help me God. I would just imagine that I was a DJ on the radio. Now, this is how that there is a God. I would imagine that I was talking to the world
Wow.
before internet was even a concept in my mind. And
Man.
that's what I would do. Just imagine that I was talking to the world, and I will never forget. So I'm no longer that little innocent boy now. Okay, all right. So I've gotten a car, and I've been around the block a time or two, and I will never forget a distant cousin of my mother. Um, I don't know. I don't remember where I was, but I know I was listening to the radio and I had closed my eyes while sitting in the car, and I'm talking to the music,
Mhm.
and she walked up to me and she said, "Boy, what's wrong with you?" Like, and she caught me, DJing, she just caught me in that
Right.
moment, and so really growing up, there were two things, and I'm kind of want to bring in the concept of preacher man. Preacher man.
Yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
kind of want to elaborate on that. The man aspect is the DJ part. That's the natural
Yes.
side. I was
Yes.
born with that ability. I believe that with all of my heart, and being born with it. Yeah, that's cool. That's good and fine. But I also went to school, to a little bit of school, to try to perfect it because I was interested in it. So that's the man aspect, the natural talent. I tell people I was born with the ability to DJ. And I
Yes.
believe that, Diane, I believe that with all of my heart. I could tell you a story about my dad. uh, Periodically he cut up, I mean, he was showing enough cut up. And he have a friend or somebody come over to the house. On this particular case, he had a friend come to the house, and they sitting around doing what grown folk do, especially Southern men. They got their little sip going, and usually uh, children could not sit in the presence of adults,
Right.
when they were doing their thing.
That thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. You couldn't know. You had to go outside and you know. But anyway,
Yeah.
on this particular occasion, the record player was on. We call it the hi-fi. It was
Mm-hmm.
on, and I would tell people, you know what? You know how I really learned to read? By reading record labels.
Wow.
Chess,
Wow.
Columbia, okay, VJ. That's how I would just sit there and just read the record labels. And I tell people that's how I really, really learned to read. Okay,
Wow.
reading record labels. And
That's
this
amazing.
particular day, this man is there at the house with my dad. the hi-fi, the record players on. And so what I'm just sitting there on the edge of the couch. And so what I do is I get up. Now I don't even have to get up. I just start playing the records. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody said nothing. They didn't say get up, go outside and play. So what? I played another record. I just kept playing them. I just kept playing them. And Diane, I guess maybe after a half hour, 45 minutes or something, the man got ready to leave. And this I would never forget. That man looked at my daddy and he said, LM, that little old boy sure know how to play them records, don't he? That
Wow.
that meant the world to me. That
Yes.
little old boy sure know how to play them records, don't he?
Wow. That's
That meant
amazing.
that meant the world to me. And obviously, graduated high school, and that was 1974. Graduated high school, and that summer I started spinning records in Jackson, Mississippi, place called Subdivision Number 2. That was all black community. That's where I grew up at. And a friend of mine, I had watched him DJ over the year. He's passed on. His name is Otis Ridley. And he
Mm.
called himself Jiving Otis. And so what he did was he opened up a little club, a little hole in the wall. Girl. And he flagged me down because he knew I was interested in DJing. Everybody knew that. Folks just knew that. He said,
Yes.
Larry, I'm gonna open up a club, man. And sure enough, he did. Like everybody in our peers, we all got together and came up. And what I had been doing over the years, I had been buying records. That's what I spent my money on.
Okay.
I would buy records, and the first set of, I would say, professional. It wasn't even mobile DJ equipment. It was a sound system from Radio Shack.
Wow.
Radio Shack had a sound system. Oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it right now, but the speakers were in an oak cabinet, wooden
Wow.
oak cabinet. The speakers weighed 55 pounds each. And girl,
Man,
you talking about a system that sound good? Woo!
they don't make them like that. They
No,
don't make
that
them
back
like
in the
that no
day when
more.
they had Sansuis and Yamaha. Look at here. I had one of the baddest, as a young man, I
Mm-hmm.
had one of the baddest sound systems in the neighborhood. You think I'm kidding if you
Man.
wanna? Shoot, I sure did. I took
Oh
my
man.
records and I took my equipment up to Jive and Otis on that night. Took all my stuff. And Otis let me spin records. Diane, I was so nervous. Ooh, it was the opening night too. We ain't
Wow.
had no DJ stand. We ain't had no lights. We ain't had nothing. We ain't had nothing that would flash. All we
Mm.
had was turn the lights down and music. The movie Car Wash was out.
Oh,
And there's
that was like 72.
yeah. That and the song that I wanted to start off with was by Rolls Royce. I want to get next to you, sitting here in
Yes,
this
yes,
chair. Oh, baby, yeah. So that was the
yes.
song. That was the song that I wanted to set the mood with. Girl, I was so nervous. I queued up the wrong song, and but didn't nobody know it. Didn't nobody know it. Didn't
Right.
nobody know it. Didn't nobody know it. And so finally, I sat back there, and y'all just had to use your imagination back in the day. What people would, how they would take care of the DJ. Just use your imagination, okay?
Right.
Look at here. They started taking care of me, and boy, my confidence started building up. And that night, woo, Jesus, that night, that night, that night is the night that they gave me the DJ name Slick Larry. That was that.
Wow.
Look, Preacher Man is a long way removed from Slick Larry.
Like
Okay,
Larry.
them two don't go together at all. I ain't kidding you. Oh Lord, but I'm talking too much. I'm talking too much. But
No, you're
thanks for
good. You are
asking.
good.
But thanks for asking a question that gives me good memories, good joy.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me relive some of those moments. And you know what, Diane, in all honesty, nobody but God was with me. I literally became um it was almost like I got famous overnight.
Right.
And
Wow.
that that wasn't good for me.
Mm.
That was because I lowered my morals. Uh, I you know what? I didn't have no lines in the sand.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
I mean, you can't. I didn't see it then, but hey, Satan was like, "Here, buddy, here you
Mm.
go, here you go, here you go," and
Yeah.
I got up there in Jackson, Mississippi.
Wow.
There wasn't a club in Jackson, Mississippi that I could not go to and spin records.
Okay.
I
Man,
was, yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I um, I got into it so deep until I quit my job and
Okay.
didn't do nothing but spin records. Okay,
See?
okay. I quit my job and was just out there in them streets spinning them records and everything that went along with it.
Mm.
The first thing that happened to me was my car got repossessed
Mm.
because I wasn't paying that note.
Right, right.
Okay, I had my own apartment. Then I had to move back home with my mama.
Mm. See?
You talking about been through some stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And then there was this very, very, very tragic situation that happened between my dad and myself. Okay, very
I
tragic.
I remember, and I
Okay,
wasn't gonna address that unless you wanted to address it.
well, well, and I'm not going to address it. I'm not going to get into any details. Okay,
Yeah.
but do
Yes.
you know what kept me?
Hmm.
Was the ability to DJ.
Wow. Now that's
I
awesome,
went
right
into a state of seclusion. Uh, didn't nobody know what to say to me.
there. Mm-hmm.
You can imagine that. I mean, I'm
Oh yeah.
okay with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
My friend, my peer, they didn't know. They didn't know what to say. They didn't. They didn't know. I mean, nobody knew what to do or say.
Right.
Well, girl, I got my record, and I went back to the club,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever I had to say, I said it with my music in that microphone. That's how I got through that. You feel me?
Beautiful.
That's
Yes.
that's how I got. That's how I expressed myself. Not addressing the situation, but I was pouring out my heart. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. If I wanted to, if I wanted people to feel like I was feeling, and I was feeling kind of blue,
Yes.
girl, I could put on some. I
You could
could put
do
on
it
some. I
through
could
that
I
music.
could I could I could bring you right where I was at.
And you know what? That's the beautiful thing about music because it can do that for you in any
Yes.
circumstance or situation. You put on the right song and it can
Woo.
bring you to a whole different place. You
You
know,
better
it can
know it.
take you. Yes.
You better know it. You better
Yeah.
know it. You better know it. Absolutely, absolutely. And sometimes that mood. We don't use language today like we used to use in the club. We used to use language like joke, you know,
Yes.
joke,
Hmm.
that it just look at here. When you talking about juking, oh my,
Okay.
juking is almost like you in Africa
Right.
somewhere, and yeah, and you yeah, yeah.
Get into it.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, you get into it.
Yes.
You get
Yes. Yes.
into it. Yes, you do. You be like, oh
Mhm.
man, and there were artists out there, who had that. that jugging beat. Oh man,
Yeah.
and then you always got them Isley brothers. Oh Jesus.
Oh, now come on now. Come on.
You always that was back when the Isley Brothers was putting out one album a year, and you look forward to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
So
definitely. Yes,
it,
I'm
it,
telling you, music is a lifesaver. It definitely is a
it
lifesaver.
yeah,
Sometimes,
yeah,
I want to ask you, preacher man, so the technology that we have today has made it so easy to do music. And I remember going into the studio back down there in Chula Vista, and you had those reel to reels and those cassette decks. And I remember when I
yep,
started with he had those two cassette decks and those two 8 tracks. I mean, not 8 track, but the reel to reels on one side,
yep.
cassette decks in the middle. And then it graduated from that to the CDs, and then now to basically you ain't got to have no kind of physical, you
Music.
know,
Yeah,
apparatus,
yeah,
or music. You can get everything online. How
yeah.
has that transition been for you? That how has the transition been? And then would you prefer, or do you prefer, the old school to the new school?
Well, you know what? That's a very good question. Let's start with old school to new school. Years ago, you remember out there on Sports Arena, Tower Records. You remember that
Yes.
was out there? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was in Tower, and that's where I would buy a lot of my music from. But Tower Records, you could go there and you could buy music and you could buy Billboard magazines, etc., etc. I remember reading an article while in Tower Records. And that's when CDs were first coming out. And this
Mm-hmm.
article alluded to what we call audio fidelity. And this article pointed out the fact, yes, the CD, they're good, but all the CDs is just a bunch of, I think, zeros and ones. I believe that's what it was. But
Mm-hmm.
and you got this little red light, this little beam, and all it does, it's reading. It's just reading. It's not touching anything. It's just reading these zeros and ones, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole different story, for sound. But then it says that the CD audio would never be as good as that printed wax. I mean, that pressed wax with that needle touching,
Right.
because in the recording, it's like there are grooves in there. And you remember
Right.
back in the day, you mess around and you scratch a record,
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Done.
you got a problem. Yeah, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And so being exposed and growing up and cutting my teeth as a DJ on records,
Mm-hmm.
um, sometimes you put it on, it sound like sometimes bacon frying.
Mm-hmm.
It got this, all of
That's
that kind of, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. All of that adds to, uh, you know, the evening or the entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the convenience of the technology today. Diane, I have the only thing that I do. I mean, I'm looking at stuff right now. I'm looking at cassette decks. I'm looking at CDs. I'm looking at mini discs.
Mm.
All of that stuff. All of that stuff. Uh, I still have, and I do have an 8-track tape player that's built into one of those old time hi-fis. But I guess at this point, uh, I really respect the old school, but I appreciate the comfort and the ease of the
Mm-hmm.
new technology. Let me give you an example with my system that I have now, and I just play MP3s, for the station.
Mm-hmm.
I can be playing a song, and with the technology that we have today, I can have 10 seconds left on that track, 10 seconds, and
Mm-hmm.
change my mind about what I'm gonna play.
Okay. Exactly.
You okay? I can
Yes.
I can click. grab and drop. That's all I got to
Yes.
do. You can't
Yes.
do that when you're spinning no records.
Oh, you cannot.
You can change your
Cannot.
mind, and you can change your mind within 10 seconds with the
Yes.
technology that we
I
have now.
do it
So
every day.
I
Every
did it
day.
this morning. I did it this morning. I said I'm gonna play this song and then I think of something else. See, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I just click and drop
Drag
it
it.
in the playlist.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yes. I love
yeah.
it. I
So
love it.
yeah, so
Yes.
I appreciate it. I still have. Oh my goodness, when I had my thrift shop, oh Lord, I got rid of thousands of CDs, thousands,
Wow.
because you know what, I had made a decision that I was going to quit DJing. I was just going to
I
stop.
remember. I
Yeah,
remember. I
it-
remember. Let me go back to you with you when you started the gardening, the landscaping and the gardening
yeah,
business.
sure did. Child, that didn't
Yeah.
last long.
Yeah.
Child, I was scared of snakes for one. I was like, oh Lord, please don't let me see no snakes. Mm-mm. But you know what? I did that because that was what I had to do.
Right.
It was and I still have my equipment. Time get hard. Hey, believe me,
Yeah.
that's that
Something to fall back
Mississippi.
on.
That's that
Oh, amen.
Mississippi in me. You know what, Godfrey?
Right.
Hey, that's that Mississippi hustle. Believe me. Hey,
Yes. Yes.
John. But all of that, Diane, was still a learning experience. All of it
Mm-hmm.
was. It's um, it's easy for a person, I think, when you've been places that I've been, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you walk into a room and people applaud you or people acknowledge you, if you're not
Mm-hmm.
careful, Satan will use that for your detriment.
Oh,
And
yeah.
hey, look at here. Look. When I came to San Diego, Diane, I knew, well, I say three people by name.
Mm-hmm.
Three people. My two aunts and my uncle. That's all I knew.
Okay.
No matter where I go today, I don't care where I go. Somebody say, "Hey, preacher man." No matter,
Yep.
no matter where I go. Most people don't even know
That's
my name is Larry Milton Thompson Jr.
right. They just know preacher man. Just
And,
preacher man. That's it.
and Diane, that's a blessing. That's a
Yes. Yeah.
blessing.
It
That's what
is.
radio has done for me.
Yes. Yes.
That's a blessing.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, I
That's
want to
that's a
say
blessing. Yeah.
that is just. I just want to say, you know what? You really set the pace and the stage for radio in San Diego. I think, in my opinion, I know we've had a few
Oh
people come
yeah.
and go. We've had those come and go, the Gene Harrises and the
Oh,
Tyattes and all those, but you are still here. You are a
oh,
mainstay. You know what I'm saying?
only by the grace of God, and I stand on the shoulders, and I recognize other people for what they do. But Diane, God gave me this. I was
Yes,
born to
yes.
do this. This is this
Exactly.
is a look. This is the man's talent. This is the man's talent. Every man is
Hmm.
born, every woman is born with the ability to exceed.
Yes,
You're born with the ability to exceed, to excel at something. I'm just
exactly.
blessed because God put it in me early,
Hmm.
early, early. I never wanted to be no basketball player, never wanted to be no football player. No, all
Yes.
I wanted to do was DJ. And that was
Amen.
it. And you know
Amen.
what? That road took me some places. I mean, hey, that road took me some places. Okay, look, God is my witness. Thank God for His grace and His mercy. Okay? But out of that DJing thing came a calling to preach and teach.
Yes.
That's where the preacher part comes in. I'm just
Hmm.
as much a preacher as I am a man.
Oh yes. What was that church you had down there on Market?
Solid Rock.
Solid Rock. Yes, yes, yes.
Solid Rock.
Right
Yeah.
next to the upper room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, they I was bad. I took the church fellowship hall and turned it into a club. The fellowship hall. you know you I sure
Yes.
did. I sure did. I sure
But
did.
it was a popping thing. It was what
It,
we
oh,
needed. We needed it.
yeah. I think it was an idea before its time, to be honest with you.
Yes.
And it's amazing how, Isaiah 55, 8 and 9 said, God ways are not our ways. His
Mm-hmm.
thoughts are not our thoughts. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are
Mm-hmm.
God's ways above our ways. Diane, I
Yeah.
can honestly say to you and your listeners that the journey that I've been on has been a journey of faith, really. Not perfect faith, not perfect obedience. But if I believed that God wanted me to do something, I gave it
Mm-hmm.
a shot.
That's right.
I gave it a shot. And I knew that, look, I knew that that was different. I was the first preacher in San Diego to start wearing locks. You know why I
Okay.
did that? I was the first in San Diego. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know why I did that? Because I would say, I would meditate and I would pray and I would say, Lord, as my hair grow, let my
Mm-hmm.
faith grow.
Mm. Amen. Amen.
Let it grow. And then, uh, because of radio, I went back to Mississippi
Mm-hmm.
when locks were, mm-mm. And
Right.
they told me, they said, well, look, man, if you're going to come down here and manage this station, you probably want to think about cutting them off. I was serious. Yeah, I cut my hair, and them Negroes still didn't give me the job. I turned
Mm-mm.
around and came back to came back to San Diego.
I don't
I sure
blame you.
did. I sure did. I sure did. I gave up everything in San Diego and moved to Mississippi, down on the coast of Biloxi. Specifically, I did a little name of the town will come to me in a minute. But you know what? It wasn't God's will. Because when
That's right.
I returned back to San Diego, went back to KPRZ and KCBQ, then Dr. Winters and I started the Soul of San Diego. And right after we started the Soul of San Diego, we were probably on the air for about 3 months. That's when Katrina hit. And I had
Wow.
actually looked at a house that was right there in Biloxi, Mississippi. That and the area where the house was at was devastated by Katrina. So it just
Wow.
wasn't meant for me to be there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. It was meant for you to be right where you are, right there in San Diego.
To God be the glory. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This has been awesome, Preacher Man. I'm so happy that you were able to come on the show. And just been awesome. I mean, just thinking about all the different things that we've done together and how long we've known each other and
Mm-hmm.
all that we've seen transpire in San Diego and the growth that we've both gone through is just
Yes, Lord.
awesome. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So let me ask you for all my listeners out there that want to tune into your show. You have the gospel show in San
Right.
Diego. How will we get in contact with you and tune into your show on a regular basis?
Oh, well, you know what? As often as you can, I would appreciate that. I'm doing just like you and the captain. You know what? We're just, excuse me, uh, maintaining, holding our own. I'm not out there waving flags and all. I'm content with the
Yeah.
listeners that God has given unto me, to be honest, and I appreciate you providing opportunity. But listen, I'm real easy to remember. I'm a San Diego Gospel
Hmm.
Radio. That's where we are. We're online, 724 San Diego Gospel Radio. We have a
Amen.
little simple website. Sometimes I keep it up every day, and sometimes I don't fool with it until I get ready to.
Okay. You do what you do.
I just
Exactly.
because I'm content. I'm content.
Yes,
But you know what? My contentment tells me that God is not through. I'm
right.
believing God for even bigger things. I am.
Yes,
And so
yes,
uh,
definitely.
we mix it up a little bit every now and then. I don't mix it up nearly as much as I used to because
Hmm.
I'm really, Diane, I'm really trying to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit. And I
Yes,
know that we're living in a day and time now where you made reference to it. Music, will have an impact on your life, on your
mm-hmm.
feelings,
Yeah,
your emotions. So I try to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit, to be honest with you. And I'm on live Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And the last thing I'll conclude, girl getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
let
You
me
know what,
tell you.
child? Woo! I be like,
Look,
Lord,
look,
have mercy.
look.
Look, mm-mm,
Getting
mm-mm.
old, getting old. I did a show a few weeks back with my character Grandma Sis, and she
Mm-hmm.
was talking about growing old gracefully. And she said,
Shit.
"Ain't no growing old gracefully. Ain't no graceful about growing old. Nothing
No,
graceful
no,
about it."
no, 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 no. I be saying to myself, but the thing that pushes me, and people be waiting, and
Hmm.
that's Lord, somebody need to hear something today.
Yes,
And
yes,
I'm the person that you've chosen to communicate that. But listen, I
yes,
appreciate you. I will never forget this moment. I will
yes.
never. I treasure the memories of your community involvement, and I commend you for your longevity. What an honor
Thank
to
you.
be able to have this time with you and your listeners.
Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. I'm going to play this and share this with everybody, and hopefully everybody will tune in and just see who got me my start, who gave me my start in radio. So thank you so much, Preacher Man. I appreciate you. I respect you, and I love you very much. And tell your beautiful wife Joanne I said hello and I love her.
All right. Yeah, she's out there in the event. Yeah, I was gonna go with her, but I said no. I got an interview tonight, so she done got dressed up and she going on out. So I
All
may go
right.
down there and check on her. So
All
God
right. Well,
bless you, Diane. I'm out.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Take care. Have a
Okay.
good night. God
Thank you.
bless.
God bless. Okay.
Yes. All right. That was Larry Preacher Man Thompson. Oh my goodness. This has been a wonderful, wonderful interview. You guys have no idea what that man means to my life, how he inspired me and encouraged me and motivated me to go on to do bigger things. He gave me my start in radio. Although I'm on KEPX radio with Captain Lynette Wilson and the team and the crew, but I got my official initial start initiation into radio from Larry Preacherman Thompson. So thank you, Larry Preacherman. I thank you so much for coming on to the show. I'll play a couple of sponsored moments right now, and then I'm going to be right back.
Vegas. Where's the food? Right here at So Sinful Snacks and Treats. Make sure you get down to 4255 Dean Martin Drive, Suite G, and put your order in at So Sinful Snacks and Treats. Try out our new steam bowls or our delicious homestyle barbecue. Either way, you're going to love something at So Sinful Snacks and Treats. Now available on Uber Eats and DoorDash. Order today.
All right, this is Lady D, that be me. You have been watching Conversations for Dummies right here on Lady D TV. I will be here every Friday from 7:30 p.m. until usually 8:30 or so. Just depends on the interview. This has been awesome. I've really enjoyed myself. Join me next week, next Friday at the same time right here, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, join me next week, Monday through Friday, on KEPX Radio for my show, Morning Motivation with Lady D. I will be doing it on Facebook as well, but it will be a little bit different because I play mainstream music on my radio station and I can't play mainstream music on Facebook. So you'll be able to get some of it, but you'll be able to get all of it. But tune in anyway to kepxradio.com and you can get the whole show and all of my mainstream music. And it's an off the chain show. You don't want to miss it. So tune in Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Excuse me. Thank you guys once again for joining me. This is Lady D, that be me, and I am out. Have a great night. I'll see you guys next time.